Every step we took, anyone can take. You just have to walk that path. If you're that person who always has a problem for every solution, it will never work for you. If you're like, oh, I can't do that because of this or because of this, then you will never do that. And the person who you are is not the person who can have this life, but the person you can become is the person who will deserve this life.
What's the deal with all those old school real estate agents teaching outdated marketing techniques and living in the past? This show is about fresh ideas in real estate, diving deep into marketing, design, home renovations, and business development. But we also talk about lifestyle, health, travel, and just living an incredible life. Because the fastest way to financial freedom and fun is through real estate. It's time to build up your real estate business, serve way more clients, and have a blast doing it.
All right, guys, how's it going? It's Seth Streaksman. I'm on another podcast episode of What's the Deal? We're in the New Venture Escrow studio over here in Mission Valley, and some really good friends of mine, Erica and Raf Ramon, newlyweds, and Airbnb extraordinaires. How you doing, guys?
What
a cool space this place is. Yeah, I mean, golf balls in the simulator, got the stimulator. I'm never leaving. Oh, wait. Simulator. I kept hearing stimulator for like the past 20 minutes, and now it's in my head. What's on your mind, buddy? Friday night, here it comes. Literally, here it comes. Oh, wow. Are you getting some Please leave it in. So, first of all, love you guys. Thank you for coming on. This is going to be really fun. I've always looked up to you guys in that Airbnb arena. You guys are so talented with it. And I just want to dive deep and hear all about your story. Get into the nuts and bolts about what's going on and kind of the forecasting for kind of your market for the Airbnb. I don't want to talk about a general Airbnb, but just to give you guys a breakdown. So Erica and Raphael have been good friends of mine, clients. Recently purchased a house out in the Mount Helix area and operate some very successful Airbnbs, and I will not take their sunshine. I will let them tell it all. But let's dive into it, guys. So, I mean, first and foremost, how long have you guys been in this industry as far as like the Airbnb industry goes?
Less time than you think. It's funny. We were kind of looking back at it and talking about how long it's really been. And we kind of broke into this by accident, probably, 2019? And then for real in 2020, which is a whole different story of itself. But we broke into it because Erica was spending time at her apartment, but also at my apartment quite often. We live a few blocks apart. And she was thinking, like, why don't I just rent my place out and come stay with you on the weekends?
You got to go back a little. So actually, I was in a skyrise downtown, and I was in the elevator. I ran into this guy, and I don't know how it came up, but he's like, yeah, I'm going to rent my unit upstairs again this year for Comic-Con. Last year I made $10,000 in a week. And I was like, what? So I was like, I'm just going to throw it up and see what happens. I way underpriced it, but it like booked instantly. And then from there, I was like, well, I'm with you on the weekends. Why don't I just do weekends? And then we used to love going like apartment shopping and pretending we were going to move in. But then we found this loft that we fell in love with. But we had to move in October, and both of our leases were up in December. And then I was like, how can we make this happen? Because I will always find a way. And so I was like, let's just rent my apartment full time, and it'll at least cover my rent. So then we just have 2 rents. But it ended up making us, I think, covered both of ours and plus some. And so when that was done, we were like, how can we do more of this? I think that's when Raf first reached out to you.
Yeah. So backstory a little bit with Raf and I, because Raf actually reached out through our online marketing, and she was already in our database, and we actually met, and I figured out, wait, you're already in our database? No way. And so, you were already familiar with like when we had a Real Scout, which is like an old system we used to use, but we go way back. So
we're definitely those now.
Yeah.
And when you were introduced to me, and you told me you were into real estate. And wait, are you Seth sells the city?
Yeah. Like, holy shit, that's funny.
That's funny.
Yeah. So the apartment kind of got the gears going, getting the light bulb went off. And then what happened after that?
Well, I think that's when you were looking to buy. And then we were like, well, that takes a while. Like, things are really expensive. And I was like, why don't we just try to see if someone will rent us a house and let us Airbnb it? Like, worst we can do is try and we get a no. And so I think...
How funny is that, though? Things are so expensive back in 2020. It's like, if only they could see into the future and be like, oh, yeah, we thought it's expensive back then. Wow, we missed the boat.
It's all relative. It's all relative.
Erica, in her standard, let's figure it out fashion, was like, why don't we find a place to rent and then rent that out. And I was like, no one's going to let us do that. Why would they ever let us do that? She's like, just try it. Hopped on Craigslist, found like
We sent 5 emails.
5 emails, 5 apartments or 5 houses that I thought might work well. Set 5 emails out, got 3 yeses out of 5 emails. And we were like, well, let's pick our favorite one. And we ended up, that emails were sent on a Saturday. We signed our lease on a Wednesday.
I feel like you guys probably had the pandemic on your side then, because people are freaking out about, it hasn't even started yet.
It was pre-pandemic 2020.
This was like a month before because we pushed it back. So we were like, can we start in 2 weeks? Like, how far can we push it so that we could like get the balls rolling ahead?
And we got to negotiate. So, I mean, we did it in a way that was smart, right? What's in it for the owner? Not just like what's in it for us. So we shot an email out that said, hey, like, we'd love to rent your place above market rent. We'll make sure it's professionally cleaned twice a week or more. We have very little wear and tear on your appliances because we want to use it as an Airbnb or vacation rental and looking to rent towards families mostly.
Yeah.
And we guaranteed the lease ourselves. And I got to shoot it from my work email, which is the doctor email, which sounded very smart. And credibility there. So we shot that off, and the owner was very on board for it. And then we negotiated a little bit of a better rent because once we had a yes, we were like, here's what we can really do. Here's what the real value would be. Are you okay with this? And she's like, yeah, that makes sense. We can do that right there. So we negotiated the rent a little bit, and then we pushed it back 2 weeks, ordered a bunch of furniture, signed the lease, got it all up and running, and
listed it. And then the next day, lockdown started. And we were like, oh my gosh, what do we do?
So we had our first tenant in there, our first vacationer in there. Rudy Gobert, for you sports fans, was coughing on the mics and then tested positive for COVID, and the whole sports world shut down. Right? And if sports shut down, everything's going to shut down.
Oh, wow.
So the whole thing shut down, and we're like, what do we do? We have a bunch of friends who were in the Airbnb game. We're like, what are you guys doing? And they're like, get out. Break your lease. Quit. We're having tons of refunds from all of our future bookings. One couple that we know, they're like, we had to refund, future booking, so it's not collected yet, but it's already on the books. $80,000 in the first 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Because Airbnb took the side of all the guests, obviously. So we're like, what do we do? Do we stick with it? We're both people to where like, we're going to make something work no matter what.
Yeah.
So luckily we decided to stick with it. Tammy, that was the name. And yes, it was. And we got our first guest in there.
Mika.
Yeah, we call her Tammy for privacy reasons. And we shouldn't, now it's all out. And we got our first guest in there, and she booked for like 10 days, extended to 14 days.
Well, so she had a 3.5 stars, but I was like, we just need to take what we can get. She's only going to be there for like a week. Like, what's the worst that can happen? And she kept like extending to the point where our new cleaner, we're like, we keep canceling on her. I'll just clean it. Because I used to clean my apartment when people would stay there. And it was a nightmare. Oh, God. But, I mean, we made money that month. And about
barely.
So got into this, and we're going to jump to kind of more today. So you guys did this, and that at least covered the rent? Was it covering the rent? Okay, so you covered the rent, and then you're like, what happened? Was it like, we should do this? Like, we should go buy out? Why the desert? What started this whole conversation?
Well, so then it just kept getting better. And as you probably know, like during COVID, Airbnb really blew up. And so we actually went to Coachella, and we were like, we just spent so much money this weekend just on our portion of the house. And so I think you looked at house prices and were like, wait a second. And so that's really what got us excited about possibly investing in the desert, because house prices were less. You could make a lot of money during the festivals. And then throughout the year, it still did pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you have a mindset of like, how can I make money doing something, you kind of look at it wherever you go. And that week, and that we were in Coachella, we were like, we paid a ton of money for our portion of this house. We packed in more people than we should even. So this host made like 13, 15, 16,000 bucks in a weekend. If you look at it, it's Coachella weekend 1, weekend 2, then Stagecoach. So 3 weekends in a row, all in April.
Yeah.
That house is crushing it.
Yeah.
I got on Redfin, and I looked, and I was like, you can buy houses in the 300s out here.
Wow.
Whoa. Like, even if it's not the house we stayed in PGA West, not a beautiful home on a golf course, you can make a ton of money.
Mm-hmm.
Started looking out there more seriously. We bought our first house out there in September of 2020 for $358. Put a pool in for about $45,000 bucks. Ran it for a few years, made like 50,000 profit per year on that place, and then sold it for 780.
Wow.
Like,
How much did you put into it fixing it up? So let's break down the numbers. So you bought it for $345,
$358.
$358 plus $45 for the pool,
Yep.
and then plus remodel, right? It was remodeled.
It's a new build.
Okay, plus furniture. So let's call it
20 and then appliances.
Less than 20, I think.
So maybe it's all under $500K, and sold it for what,
780.
$780. But at the same time, making $50K net every year.
That property made over $100,000 gross per year.
Wow, it's great.
Yeah. So into a 2-year time period, lessing all agent fees and things like that, we walked away with just a few $1,000 under $500,000.
Wow.
And I was like, I'm all
It gets you excited.
Yeah, it does get you excited. Okay.
And in that meantime, so 2020, we bought that. 2021, we bought a house for ourselves here in San Diego. You helped us with that. It's a duplex, 2 units on one piece of property. We lived in the front house, rented out the back house. We modeled both those. And then we recently sold that. We'll get into that here in a second.
Yeah.
Then we were getting married, and we were like, what better time to buy another house than a month before our wedding? And we did buy another house, complete remodel in the desert. That was Sirocco. We bought that for $410, put about $200 into it, complete remodel, pool, backyard, everything. And then we had our wedding. We realized that we had no money saved for our wedding about 2 months prior to our wedding.
Yeah, putting it into houses.
Yeah,
It worked out.
yeah, so it worked out fine. We were able to make a lot of money really fast with what we were doing anyway. And then we bought another house at the end of 2022.
Yeah.
Another house in 2023 out in the desert. We sold our house here in San Diego, that duplex, a few months ago here in San Diego, which we'll get to those numbers if you want to as well, because you helped us and then you crushed it.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a great deal. That was a great deal.
And then we just bought our newest place out in my Helix area, and that rehab's almost fully done, but we're building a lot of equity in that property.
Yeah. And we'll dive deeper into that. I want to hear more about like the portfolio. So like
Yeah.
currently as it stands, you guys have how many properties that are functioning Airbnbs?
We sold 2 off, so now we have 3 in the desert, 1 here in San Diego.
One here in San Diego.
Which is the very first one that we just
In
rented.
Grant Hill, by my house.
Yeah.
Yes. So you have 3 in the desert and then 1 in Grant Hill. I mean, are the ones in the desert all kind of the same? Are they all kind of producing the same? Why the desert? Like what is it, a better occupancy in the desert, or is it just cheaper to buy a house out there?
It is cheaper. There's a lot of a lot of bachelorette parties. There's the festivals, which bring in a lot. I do think that we're probably done investing there for a while. It's definitely gotten very saturated.
I was going to say, why stop with the desert?
Yeah, it's just definitely more saturated. Occupancy is different. I will say, I feel like our first house was a 3.2 and a half. And the new houses are all, like, our newest one is 6 bedrooms. I think the other's 5 and the other's 4, but 2 of the rooms are like double wide. So they're bigger houses and you really only get the weekend booked. And I feel like because our smaller houses were constantly booked, it feels a little different. But yeah, I mean, it's still a great market. I just think, one, I'm also burnt out on having to go up there for the renovations and setting up. It's just, we have a good amount there. So maybe move on to a new city.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or like let it chill and run for a minute. Like it's, sometimes burnout is a real thing.
Yeah.
When you're doing something hardcore for years, it's going to burn out. So are those all up and running right now, or where are we at with those?
The last one's just about to be listed. I actually just got home yesterday from finishing that house up. So just getting
What city? So what city, sorry, are these in?
2 are in the actual city of Coachella. So they're like minutes from the festival grounds. And then the other one is in Indio, which is also very close.
Okay.
Actually, Coachella Festival is in Indio.
Yes.
Like on the,
If you look at the Coachella Valley in general, everyone knows Palm Springs, right? If you come west to east, so coming in from like LA or how you go from San Diego, you go north and east, you hit Palm Springs first, then you hit Cathedral City, which no one talks about. Then you hit Palm Desert, then La Quinta, then Indio, then Coachella, then Thermal. No one touches Thermal. Let's get a out there, right? Coachella has some good areas and some not good areas. Indio is awesome. Like Quinta is incredible, but they don't allow short-term rentals. Palm Desert, awesome. They don't allow short-term rentals. Palm Springs, very, very strict on short-term rentals. So if you want to be out there, unless you go to like Joshua Tree or 29 Palms or things more north, you're really looking at maybe Palm Springs, much higher price point, but great returns, or Indio, Coachella, much more lax and who can get licenses. You pay for them. Then it costs money. They have taxing on top of it, but you're not capped out at a certain amount. You can get as many as you want, and you can have them anywhere you want in those cities. So really, when we look at price point in return, how much can a property make? The desert is still one of the best ratios I've seen anywhere. We're just getting tired of it because she has to be out there setting it up, and I want her home. We want to make babies. We can't sit here too. But San Diego is more booked consistently all around the year. Out there, you get those spikes with peaks and valleys of income. But in months like April, like that 6-bedroom in April, if it doesn't bring in between 30 and 40,000, I will be shocked. Probably closer to 40.
Yeah. And that makes sense. I mean, that's the peak season for it. So speaking about burnout, and I'm going to dive into like the processes and the kind of little details of these things. So, I mean, you're running now 4 Airbnbs. There has to be some sort of like process and systems that you guys do. How do you guys manage all these things, and how do you keep your head on straight and not combust? I was going to say, who is this question directed to? I'm like, okay, Erica. Yeah.
I mean, she's a wizard at this, and I'm so impressed by her. I'll tell you now live on camera, but I'm very impressed by you, babe.
Thanks.
She does a phenomenal job. Really, the design of the Airbnb is that maximize people wanting to be there, but really at the running of the processes and the guest communication and really automating as much as possible, because she has all the guests who stay at her house are like, wow, what great communication from the host, incredible job. And she's like, I actually sent them one of my real customized messages, and that's it. The rest are all automated, and they had no idea.
So, okay, before we dive into that, because Raf brought this up, but what are the roles? So what are the roles that we play here? So, Erica sounds like takes care of design and communication. Raf, you guys tell me.
So I always say, you get me the house, I'll take over from there. So he's like very much the numbers guy, the data. He deals with the lender, the real estate agent for the most part. I mean, he works during the week. He's a chiropractor. So a lot of times there's times I have to fill in because I'm available, but he kind of does that stuff. And then once we get the house, of course I help. I'm like, no, that's not a good house. I don't like it. Or this will be a fun one. But then I kind of take over, working with the contractors, doing the rehabs, doing the design, setting the house up, getting it listed, and then the management from there. He does the bills, though. I'm not good at that stuff.
Hey, there's got to be one of each in each couple. So
one creative part. It's like the stuff that
but you have your role. You're doing your thing, being a chiropractor, making the money, and Erica's over here making things look beautiful and functioning properly. So that's great.
I'm more structure. She's more creativity.
Yeah.
There's 0% chance I would be doing this at this level without her.
Yeah.
Like, she could find someone to partner with and do the rest, but she does the hard work. So this is more, it's our business, but so much is her business. It's just a phenomenal job with it. I get to watch her kind of do what she's great at, and then find good properties, network with people, find maybe off-market or on-market deals, work with you, things like that. And I love relationships. So I get to focus on that while she focuses on all the other stuff that I really can't do.
I mean, I'm impressed because, I have so many questions.
I feel like I've always been a creative person. And it's funny because when we first got into doing Airbnb, I was like, wow, I actually feel like I'm doing something I really love, like I'm passionate about and like enjoy doing. I mean, sure, do I love building a dresser? No, but I could put on a podcast and I'm fine.
Yeah.
But like with that stuff, I've really seen, especially in the desert with like Palm Springs and Bachelorettes, like people want a fun house. And so when you can stand out and have that fun stuff, it makes a difference. And I also feel like my dad, I just watched my dad DIY everything. Like if he needed to do something, he figured it out. And so for me, also he keeps me on budget. So it's like, I can't hire someone to feed a meal, so I'm going to do it. And so Pinterest is where I get a lot of inspiration. But yeah, I just kind of came up with the design. Honestly, with that one, I was like, I want to follow the lines of the bricks so I don't have to tape because it'll save me a lot of time. Like make it fun. So we just like did a circle.
I mean, I'm impressed. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And all the ideas that you do come up with, it's right. They do stand out. They do kind of look different. They're fun. They're fun places to go to. You know, it's not just like you put furniture inside there and it's an Airbnb. You know,
Right.
It does has some personality, and it's what affects occupancy. I mean, people are scrolling and they see this cool mural versus a blank wall. They're going to say, "Oh, that really cool mural Airbnb," and now they're going to like it. Yeah, exactly. And then I'll post it and tag you. Think about when
are looking for a place to stay, right? If you and a bunch of friends, if it's your job to look, you're like, wow, I better come through with a baller place to stay because I want my friends to have an amazing time. And like, I feel pressure doing that. So you're scrolling through all these different listings and you see a picture. You're like, that's it. So your comfort picture of your listing matters so much. Imagine this, a new one that she just painted that mural on. You're looking at this backyard. You're in a covered patio. You have an outdoor kitchen, hanging chairs from the patio cover, a sitting area. You have a sunken-in fire pit that you walk down into. You have a pool, a Baja shelf.
The pool.
we're gonna have to get the photo and put it on the video from this and just, you know, show it off. So because you're describing it so well.
Mural in the back, and then behind that you have mountain views, the sun setting, this palm tree coming over it. It works insane.
Yeah.
And it sleeps 14 people.
Oh, it's great.
Like, that is the perfect Coachella house.
Yeah. Another thing I love about the house, I just have to shout it out. The master bedroom, or bathroom, I should say, had 2 walk-in closets. So we canceled one and turned it into a girl's vanity room.
Saw that.
And counters on 3 walls, and then mirrors. There's double outlets for all the plants you need.
That's really cool.
Next chairs. And so
I thought that was a great idea too.
Yeah.
It's bachelor parties are out there, or weddings or Coachella.
yeah.
Girls certainly need some space to get ready. Yeah. Raf, so this is a question to you. So, Mr. Finance, what type of financing do you do for these houses? Are these just regular loans? Are these special Airbnb loans? What kind of loan is this? Because you go for it.
I mean, we've done it different ways, right? We've raised private money at one point in time. We've taken our regular loans, you do DSCR loans.
What's a DSCR loan?
Debt service coverage ratios.
And what is that exactly?
Looks at how much money the property will make. And there's products out there that are actual Airbnb rental loans, right? Short-term rental loans. And it'll look at projected income, say off AirDNA or things like that. They'll take maybe a 1.1 to 1 ratio, even a 1.25 to 1 ratio, to where they can look at it and say, does your projected income cover at least 125% of what all your expenses are? And if so, they're like, okay, you're good to go, 20% down, we'll give you a loan.
And have you guys used this before? Okay, nice. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So this is like a DSCR Airbnb loan, basically.
Exactly.
Okay. And then was that for all of them or just for that one?
Number one, the one that we had here in San Diego, we bought with our own owner-occupied, because we're in the front house ourselves. That one was great. You can get them for a much lower percent down.
Yeah.
So we're always just trying to find the best way to go and buy the next property.
Yeah.
I would like to, with today's world, right, and the interest rates we have, I would love to explore the option of actually raising enough cash from different parties to actually buy a house all cash and then hold it for a while, maybe with a 5-year exit strategy, just to really minimize the whole impact of high interest rates right now.
Yeah.
If you have enough parties, did you run it well enough? The carrot at the end of that stick, per se, is the high returns on a monthly cash flow rate. So if you can do that, I mean, if
you can raise money, go for a small hotel. Do something boutique.
Okay, Rich Sires.
Yeah.
Hey, you sparked money.
He's a smart man. It's so
Shout out to Rich. Yeah, he's great.
Rich, don't know you yet, but I'd love to know you one day. Just his stuff is really good. He's really smart, because one thing that he said that I totally agree with, regulations will be changing.
Yeah.
So in the desert, it's a very established market. Right? Tourism brings in so much money out there. It's mind-blowing how much of the entire Coachella Valley is built off tourism. And then you also have a good population growth over the next 7 to 8 years too. So out there, metrics really hit for what you're looking for in an investing market. But with certain places where maybe more urban areas that don't have regulations in place yet, if
they will,
something changes, like Dallas, right? Something changes, all these Airbnb hotels get screwed, right?
Oh yeah.
The idea of boutique hotels, we've talked about that in the past, and I think that'd be a really fun thing. And I think
it's a future on your horizon. I mean, you guys obviously look at Airbnb as a whole. Do you guys see short-term rentals in any other market that you're interested in? Or is it just San Diego and the desert? Or are you just going to kind of chill for a sec? Or do you see other markets that you guys are interested that you would want to go into?
Yeah.
What do you look for, I guess?
I know our next move is probably going to be another arbitrage here, which is like the rental. I said I would love to do like Tahoe or like somewhere where, like tourism is not going to change. Like people are always going to Tahoe or like any like national park or something like that. Like places that we would want to go.
Yeah.
I've always said I would love to like do a city, have like 4 there and then move to the next. Because like really you can establish a great team, like a cleaning team and all of that. But once you get past 4, they can't really, keep managing. You kind of have to add more people. So I feel like that's like a good number per city.
What do you look for when you're looking at a property? What do you look at for as like metrics or occupancy to make it be like, oh, that would work? Like what do you guys look for?
Beyond like bed bath count, that makes sense, right? So if we found like a 5-bedroom house with 2 bathrooms, you're like, that's...
So break it down even more. People have no idea. Okay, house versus a condo. Why a house? Why a condo? Like what do you guys look for? What makes it attractive?
Yeah. What we've always done, and I'm not saying it's the right thing, it's what we do, is we look at houses, right, that have decent yards so you're not on top of your neighbors, because noise complaints can become a big problem. Mm-hmm. So you want a house with no shared walls, an actual standalone single family or multifamily, if you can do it in a way that makes sense, home, that they have their own privacy, their own indoor and outdoor space. Once you have that, you want to make sure there's enough bathrooms for everyone to get ready in and not be on top of each other, ideally. So you can't say you have like a 2-bedroom place with 1 bath that sleeps 10 people with, 2 pull-out couches and an air mattress. Yeah, it's not feasible. Right. Yeah. And over time, people will leave bad reviews. Yeah. Reviews mean everything in this business. So you want to make sure the house makes sense. Outdoor space is super important, be it in the desert or here in San Diego. So we always put some money into that, make sure there's enough room to have a cool outdoor space. And then we look for houses, honestly, that are going to make projected on AirDNA at least 100 to 120,000 or more per year. Because if it's less than that, I don't know if it makes sense for us to put that much time and effort into.
Yeah.
Right. So we want to make sure.
California.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
It's different if you're in a different state. But for us,
would you say that's a percentage of return? The 125,000, could you pin it to like the investment and say 125,000 is a 12% return for us?
So looking at gross return, right, not profit, is the actual return for cost of home. We're looking at 18 to 25%, right? Well, ideally.
Wow.
That's more so desert, right? That's why we're so
based off the cash that's invested, right? So like if you guys invested 200,000,
so
for the purchase price, I mean,
for the first one, the house cost less than 400,000 and made 125 a year, right? So that's 25.
A huge return.
Yeah. And they're stupid return.
It's like 100% return.
125 returns, right? So that's just gross off cost of house. So I made a really rudimentary spreadsheet, look at all this stuff. So usually when I'm analyzing properties, I want to see between 18 and 25%.
Yeah.
The newest one we bought from 540, and this is not including rehab budget, right? So you should add that in right around like 690, but projection-wise, it's going to make around 214,000 a year. The numbers are stupid out there.
Yeah.
But
so I stop.
But I do think, and I will say this, I do think the market is shifting a bit out there.
Yeah.
Maybe slowing down a little bit. It's still profitable, but it's not as profitable.
Yeah.
So the last thing I want to do is the guy who keeps buying, and then if you don't look at the trends, being stuck holding the bag.
Yeah. And which is why having a great partner with you, a wife, a creative who can literally make it stand out amongst the hundreds of others is so critical and so key. So I was going to shout out to Erica really fast because Erica has created an entire online school about this stuff. And so I want to dive deeper into that and like, what is it? How does it help people? What exactly does it do? All that.
Yeah. So it's funny because that kind of, again, was like happened by accident. My background is in marketing and I worked with a lot of like course creators. And I remember I was working for this one company and I made a course teaching like their influencers how to like do better at what they did. And so I was like, hey, I know how to make courses. People keep asking me questions because I'm sharing what I'm doing online. I've always loved sharing stuff. And so I created a course like A to Z, everything you need to know.
It's like a school.
It's a school, yeah.
It's like an online school. Yeah. What's it called?
It's BNB School.
BNB School.
And I think like something that's really key, that's kind of like my superpower, and also because it's one of my weaknesses, is automation. We kind of touched on that earlier, but as a creative, I'm so forgetful. So whenever I'm doing anything, it's like, how can I make sure this is going to get done? How can I automate it so I don't have to do it? And that's a lot of that comes from my marketing experience, because so much of marketing is automated. And so, for a while, even with, when we just had 2 houses, I was barely working on the houses, like 30 minutes a day, like a week. And that would be like if someone had a question that like the automation could answer.
Wait, say that again. You were working on the Airbnbs, like as far as managing.
Yeah.
30 minutes a week.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I mean, some weeks.
Sure. Average 30 minutes.
And I'm like, I didn't do it.
That's incredible, because people sometimes it consumes their day, their week, their lives with managing these Airbnbs. How do you do that? How did you do that?
So we automate all of the guest messaging, which has been great, because like the first night or the first morning they wake up, they have a nice message from us, like just messages throughout, not too many, but just the right amount. And it just makes it feel like you care. That same software automates like texting our cleaners. As soon as we get a booking, they get it added to our calendar. If there's any changes, it tells them, it reminds them a day before. So I don't have to worry about cleaning.
Wow.
There's even automations where you can pay them. I still manually pay them because I want them to tell me when they're done. So just peace of mind, and then they get paid. What else do we automate? It's like
the price guidebook. So like a guidebook's out. Yeah. So a guidebook is like something you put in an Airbnb. People can look at it for like recommendations for restaurants or for things to do. We use a digital guidebook. So you scan a QR code, pops up on the phone, has all the directions for Wi-Fi issues, like every possible challenge they could face has solution in that book.
Yeah.
And then if they're not like, hey, where should I go for dinner? It's already there, right?
Yeah.
What should I do for fun? What kind of fun do you want? It's already there. So when you start to preemptively answer questions that you think they might have, and like any business, a customer doesn't have a billion different questions. They have the same question a billion times. Mm-hmm. So if you answer that question, you put it on there to where before they ask it, they have a solution. It really minimizes the time it takes up for you, right?
Yeah.
It's such an easy way to do it. And then when it comes to pricing, we use software for that too. So we automate pricing changes on a daily basis, which keeps you top of mind of the SEO of Airbnb if you're changing something on their actual platform. So we do a lot of stuff like that. Well, I'll go in there and maybe check it one time a week, if that. I've gone months without checking it.
Wow.
I get lazy sometimes, to be honest. And there's just so many ways you can do it. And it's cool because she's done it in a way that makes that guest feel like they're completely taken care of and they're never forgotten about, even though we do actually forget.
Yeah. And so the course teaches that. We have all the scripts for like messaging. We have scripts for reaching out to do like the arbitrage houses. I even have like a template, or what do you call it? A spreadsheet with every item that you need for the house with links to buy it. So like saves so much time. There's just a lot of time leaving.
Yeah. Which we'll add a link to your school in the description.
We've been talking
about because it's I've been on it before and I've looked at it before, and it's extremely beneficial. I mean, you're right, from A to Z, literally it answers every question. So if anyone's listening that's looking to start an Airbnb, this is a great resource to just learn everything. I mean, you're right. Like, what do I message the guest? It automates it, the scheduling for the cleaning crew, and things you just don't even think about. It's in there, and it's so well done. So amazing job. It's done so well.
All those things. Like I even was telling him recently that like I need to add this in, but like something so small, but just experience. Like when you hang pictures on the walls, they get, twisted and the cleaners don't always straighten them. So now I use like sticky stuff that makes them stay. Like just those little things that you don't think of when you're first setting one up. It just saves you so much of the hassle, like having to fix things over and over.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's really fun.
I'm truly amazed by both of you because you both have like the go-getter attitude, and I love being around people like that. Obviously, I love hanging out with you boys, my friends. But it's just amazing to see what you guys have created, and not just in the desert, but here. And we can dive deep into your your guys' house you guys had here in Normal Heights. I mean, that's quite the story, and I'll let you guys tell it, but it's a pretty good one.
It's funny too, even before we get to that, it's funny because when it comes back to the whole BNB School thing, you sold that for how much usually for a student?
Yeah, so, I actually started lower, and then I took a coaching program. They're like, you need to sell it for way more, and the prices they want to sell it for, I was like, that's too much. Like, I want it to still be, like, accessible. Mm-hmm. So it was $1,200, but now we were talking, and I want to lower it a lot, because I also make money on, like, affiliates, which from my background, if I can find a way to make money that they don't have to pay me for, then I can make it cheaper for them too. So doing that, and then also maybe giving your audience like a coupon, so if they DM me or something, we can figure that out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we definitely do. We definitely do have a lot of Airbnbers that listen. So perfect. Okay.
That's great.
You have more cool stuff coming out. What were you gonna say?
I do. Before we get to the deal,
Funny.
we should
It's
just
because like
This couple has so much going on. I love it.
B School is like such a back burner thing, right?
I know.
It's created. She's updating it, make sure it's valuable for everyone who buys it. But like, it's definitely not where the energy is going nowadays. So we're talking about dropping the price from $1,200 down to what? Like
$3.99.
Yeah, like just massively discounting it so people can use it. Like more people get their hands on it, so they can start doing stuff to make some money as well. Because if we are heading into a world that has some change in income and recession possibilities, people need to make sure they're creating more streams of income so they can be okay. And the whole thing that she used to always talk about was like, if a single mom had one Airbnb, that would change everything.
They could manage it between like doing kid stuff.
If a couple who was financially strapped and fighting all the time about money had one Airbnb, that could change a marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Like financial stress and health stress are the two biggest stresses on people today in our world. And honestly, one well-ran Airbnb, not even talking about buying it. When you buy it, you get to capitalize on the appreciation, which is why I love to buy. But just one arbitrage, one rental can change that picture forever. And then the cash flow from that stacked up over time can then buy you a property, right? Mm-hmm. And then that compounds. Now you have two things making you money. Then you buy another one and another one. I'll say this. We're very talented at a lot of things in life, but the journey we've taken in the last 3 years is not one that's impossible for anyone. Mm-hmm. It's like we just kept renting, making money, buying, making more, buying again, making more, selling, buying, selling, buying. Mm-hmm. And it's not this crazy journey where you look at someone who's like, oh man, that sounds awesome, but I could never do that. Like every step we took, anyone can take. Mm-hmm. You just have to walk that path.
Yeah. And I'll have the attitude and the mindset.
Yeah. Yep.
That is probably the most critical factor here, is that if your mindset isn't set on getting it done, the go-getting attitude, it is difficult to think, oh man, that's never going to work for me. Yeah, you're right. It's never going to work for you. If you keep thinking like that, it's never going to work out. So you have to, surround yourself with good people, have a great mindset, stay healthy, stay, motivated. But you're right. Like one situation, one apartment arbitrage could change someone's entire life.
Yeah. Right. I mean, that if you're that person who always has a problem for every solution, it will never work for you, right? If you're like, oh, I can't do that because of this or because of this, then you will never do that. And the person who you are is not the person who can have this life, but the person who you can become is the person who will deserve this life. Mm-hmm. So the more you have to change that mindset and take those actions over and over again, you look at yourself 5 years from now, even 3 years from now, and you're like, who's that person who's doing all these things? If that's me, awesome. How do I get there? And one step at a time.
Yep. And I think a big critical thing is patience. This is not anything in real estate is not an overnight win. I mean, we've experienced some crazy appreciation in this market, but it takes years. I mean, it takes 3 to 4 months to remodel and then get it stabilized and then maybe a year to sell it. It's like, that's a 2-year project right there. So anything in real estate is a long-term gain for sure, at least more than a year, at least.
It's time horizons, right? Yeah. The person who can extend the time horizon the longest tends to win in the world of business. Anything that makes money, the longer time horizons you can think in, the more you can be future paced, the more that you don't make irrational decisions now, try to make a quick buck, and you look for the big win down the road. It's a really fun thing to do, but I don't want to steal your thunder. I want you to talk more about those cool things we have coming, because
we'll talk about that, and then we'll go into the deal of the day or whatever.
Yeah, so I feel like we originally started I originally started BNB School to help someone who wanted to get started. But then I've just seen so many people, especially with the market right now, it is tougher, that like maybe didn't put the effort into design or, just they're not seeing what they thought they would. And I've really had so much fun with the design. And we've even had people approach us like, hey, like I would love to have you like come like see if you can spruce my place up or whatever. And so I've just been thinking about where I want to put my energy, like love doing the design. I don't want to, we kind of want to take a break from doing rehab, so I'll have more time. And so I was like, what can I do? And so we came up with this idea called Refresh BNB. And essentially we can come in and make your space cooler and like help you with your occupancy, help you make more money, because people want those cool spaces. And in this competitive Airbnb market, especially out in the desert in San Diego, like you need to stand out. And so just really making it easy for people. I would just come in, do a virtual design, give them like a full-on packet, like everything you need to set it up. So they could do it, or they could pass it to someone else and be like, here you go, set it up, and just really refresh their space. But then also give them, you know, BNB School if they want to automate, or how can they also help the business side. So kind of like taking BNB School, which is more so the business side, and adding in the design.
Yeah, yeah. That is a really great idea.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people could benefit from that. A lot of people could.
And it wouldn't be super expensive because we can use a lot of the stuff you already have, but like, how can we spruce it up and make it more fun?
Yeah.
So
Just kind of gets flat after a while, and you need a little sprucing up.
Funny because she's done this with a few clients, a couple in Florida so far, a couple are in San Diego, where they hired her to do a complete virtual design, and a couple in Texas too, I believe.
Mhm.
It's been incredible. Like the before and afters that she's able to achieve without ever having to actually be there is mind blowing. Like I'm so impressed with it. And I always tell people her superpower, another one of those, is the fact that she can do it on a budget.
so because of him.
Because I make
He's tied.
Yeah.
I make her. No, we played this game. Like, that's awesome. How can you do it for less?
Yeah.
And she hates me when I do this.
So the other thing that I'm really excited about is we're going to create a storefront. So this would be more for someone that wants to like DIY
Like an actual storefront or a digital storefront?
digital.
Okay.
Yes. So it'll be all pieces that like I find like fun things. That's really what I love doing. It's like finding the fun, cool
Yeah.
pieces, and it's not easy. So like as I'm looking for stuff, I'll save it, and then it'll be added to like this storefront. You'll be able to shop the storefront maybe by color, by style, by price point, add it to your cart, and then you'll get a spreadsheet that will like organize it. So it makes it easy. Like everything is from Target. Order these things from Target, and you can, you know,
Collect your links, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And then there will be like, you know, inspo and like design boards that people can look at for inspiration.
Great. Erica, how much does it cost someone to go to your store?
That will be
shop?
free.
Free of charge. Wow. Okay.
It's really fun. So there's like different levels, I guess you could say, to
You
it.
definitely need to hire a VA.
Yeah.
Help get that going. That's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys both need help, like assistance to get this all going. I mean, you have so much going on, but here in San Diego,
Yes.
we did achieve something together.
We did.
I would call it the deal of the year.
Yeah.
Really. I'll let you guys tell the story because it's a good one.
Well, we were looking for a property for ourselves, and we knew what we wanted. We were very specific with it, which is very important in trying to find a property. We wanted a duplex, 2 standalone buildings with a detached garage that we could convert into a third if we wanted to. Both buildings had to be at least 2 bed, and then a good sized yard. So we were looking all over it. Once you kind of narrow those metrics in, there weren't a lot of properties that within our price point either to do that.
Yeah, we saw some bad ones.
So I would get text while I was at work, and Erica's like, "Oh my God, I went to this property, I almost hit my head in the ceiling."
Yeah, the one in the back, there was like a little
She's 5'3", right?
you look like Shaq.
You shouldn't hit your head in the ceiling for 5'3". Shaq could not fit in that house. So we finally found this property in Normal Heights, and we were driving there. Do you recall what you said as we were driving there the first time?
This is in the ghetto.
Yeah. And to be honest, you guys, it's
I'm
not,
being dramatic.
it's not, Erica could be a bit dramatic. It's not that bad of an area at all. It's in Normal Heights. It's actually a really nice area. But we're driving there, and Erica goes, "Arms crossed. Ew, no. This is the ghetto."
She's like Nene Leakes going to see her friend in the ghetto.
I was like, this is not where I'm living. Anyway, we fell in love with the property. It was the front house was the 1926 Spanish-style house. The back house was a 1940-ish craftsman. Front house is 1,068 square feet, 2 bed, 1 bath. Back house was 850 square feet, I think, 2 bed, 1 bath. Detached 2-car garage in the back with alley access. 6,900 square foot lot, so pretty big lot in the area for sure. Listed at $1 million, and they had one picture of the house on the listing, not a picture of the back house. One picture of the front yellow tannish, Spanish style, ugly house, overgrown grass, big foundation crack, it looked like.
Yeah.
No interior pics, nothing else. And they were only showing the property with an accepted offer.
Yeah.
So I was like, Seth, our limit, I think, is $850 right now. Like, let's offer that. And you're like, we'll try, but I don't know. Seth was his magic, got a hold of the agent. They were thinking about taking it down. They've been sitting for like 60 days.
Yeah, a while. I'm always a while.
So if you're looking for a place to strike, right, it's a property that's ugly as hell, sitting on the market for a long time with a possible foundation crack and nothing else. Got the offer accepted. I was sitting in Balboa Park on my lunch break when Seth called me. I was like, no effing way, man. This is incredible. So we went to go see it. And as we got there, like, the houses were better than we expected.
Yep.
Like, they were livable as is. Like, could use an update for sure, which we did. But they were good houses.
The neighboring houses around, right? Or the houses there.
The back house at the property. Let's say guys, the back house had 2 guys living there. Very cute house. Kind of like a little 2-bedroom bungalow, it felt like.
Yeah.
The yard needs some work. The front house, someone was living there with her son, I believe. Definitely needed work. Tiny little bathroom. So we completely remodeled both houses. I mean, we got this place, lived in the back, redid the front, moved into the front, redid the back, got listed on Airbnb. Once it was listed, it was paying the entire mortgage, no problem for us. We lived in for free for well over a year. Put about $210,000 into the renovation.
Is the whole property? Yeah, just okay, got
property.
Okay.
It's bought for $850, but $210 into it, and we just sold it for $1.625.
Yep.
2 years later.
2 years later.
2 years is very important.
Yeah.
2 years is your tax break.
Yep.
So we made sure we sold it right after we were there for 2 full years. That way we got a ton of it.
Like to the day.
Like
a day later with both.
That way we got to take home about $500,000 tax free and pay taxes on the rest, which is like, does it get you better than that?
And you only put 5% down because it was FHA.
Yeah, it was FHA. It was 3.5% down, which we definitely worked some magic. Shout out to Michael Chiodo for helping out the loan.
Remember the crack?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Erica, with her go-getter mentality, showed up to the house and got spackle and went over the cracks and everything to make sure that it passed the appraisal. Was it the inspector or the?
It was well, it was to do the FHA loan. It had to be livable on the cracks.
Yeah.
I said I filled.
We had this lady, no idea who she is still, but nightmare, because she's like, oh, the house is not livable because there's cracks on the wall. And she's like, you don't have to fix them, just to cover them up.
Yep.
So Erica's there the day before trying to close, literally spackle in hand, patching cracks so you can't see it with joint compound.
Yep.
Which is fine. That's all we had to do. But like, there is so much back and forth on that to where I am not surprised we got the house, but surprised.
It was definitely, so finagling for sure. But the sale, I will touch on that. The sale was not just, any sale. I mean, you guys had data from your Airbnb.
Right.
You designed it extremely well. You sold it with the furniture, and the right buyer came along who wanted to literally do exactly what you guys were doing.
Yeah.
And that sold at a premium. And, that record will be set probably for a while. And I'm just proud of you guys. You guys did a great job. I mean, we did a great job. It was great. It was definitely a team effort, but you guys did an amazing job just setting it up, making it run efficiently, and just being great people. And I want to thank you guys so much for just coming on. This was really fun. To just dive deep and really get to the nuts and bolts of what's going on in the Airbnb world. And any final words from you both?
I mean, I want to get on my motivational steps to yell for an hour, but it's like, if you're thinking about doing it, just do it. Don't wait on something. Don't make excuses. Find ways. Need help, reach out to us. I am not good at social media, but Erica is. So shoot her a DM.
How can we find you guys?
Erica Ramon Daily. I think that's my Instagram.
Periods or underscores, just Erica Ramon Daily.
Ramon with no E.
No E.
Surprisingly, people make that mistake quite often. So Erica, ERICA, Ramon, RAMON, and then Daily. And you'll find her. Shoot her a DM. Stay on the lookout for the storefront. It's going to be awesome. Yeah. If you want help with design, reach out to her there too.
Yep.
If you want help with your BNB, hit her up. Or check out a webinar that she does.
Just say hi.
Yeah.
Say hi to her. Send out gifts. Send us cookies, please.
Great.
But she does a completely free webinar as well. That's pretty awesome. That really helps you lock into the first 3 things you need to know when you're trying to find your first Airbnb.
I love it. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. And we'll catch you soon.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Hey there! If you like this episode or want a real estate connection in San Diego, find me on Instagram and subscribe so you don't miss any of these fun episodes. See you next time.